There are a few anime brimming with pure love and acceptance as My Dress-Up Darling. I already made a video about how Marin Kitagawa is at the epicenter of it all. She's a beacon of joy, and her love for everything that brings her any semblance of joy is infectious. And that love spreads to characters who need it the most. But when episode 11 of season 2 came around, it reminded me that it's not just Marin who radiates love and acceptance. Miyako and Suzuka's connection with Akira made me feel a bit melancholic. I'm overjoyed Akira found people to support her and her passions in her life that allow her to be her authentic self, but I was also reminded of the past where I felt very similar to Akira, a time where I hid my love for anime despite it being the central part of my life. I lived most of my high school career afraid of openly enjoying anime. I was so immersed in it, but if I ever got asked about it, I deflected or downplayed it. It wasn't cool to be into it unless it was Dragon Ball Z, a series I conveniently hadn't seen at the time. I never quite experienced the same explicit "you shouldn't be into this" like characters in My Dress-Up Darling, but I can understand the feeling. The medium I was averaging about 100 completed series a year in high school was shoved down into my stomach where no one could see it. All these anime that saved me from deep depressions were nowhere to be seen if you walked past me in the halls or really anywhere. I was in muted clothes, living a muted life. Anime was never this cool thing while I was growing up, or at least I never saw it that way. And I've spent most of my life surrounded by people who have minimal to no experience with it, if I'm being generous. I never had people to share my love with. Most just felt like they brushed it aside. I became the quiet kid at school, the one who kept getting, "Oh, you should talk more," or the other cliche phrases everyone gets. I wanted to talk more, but all I knew was anime. I didn't have cable to watch the popular shows like The Office or whatever. I was finding anime through spliced up episodes on YouTube or various other websites that I won't name. As has become evident to me through this channel, and honestly with how much I've been trying to make videos growing up, I do want and can talk for quite a while. I just never had people to share my feelings with. I never had anime fans in my life, only people who were indifferent at best and disinterested the rest of the time. I was never shunned for liking anime or told I was too old for it. Everyone in my life just didn't really seem to understand it as a whole or really care. And until I went to college, I just stomached this environment, and honestly in college the actual atmosphere never changed, but I made the decision to change. I'm not sponsored by Uniqlo. If they did, that'd be sick, but their anime and manga related clothes were a key turning point in my life. Because I was always just a guy who wore plain dark clothes, but seeing anime and manga shirts that looked genuinely cool and weren't just a big poster printed on top of it was a huge boost to my self-esteem. The core idea I took into college and have been slowly embracing in my life was to openly show my love for anime more. I knew how I was in high school would only make me worse if I stuck in that same shame, so I slowly but surely made my way out. I wore more anime shirts, I talked more about it, I forced my friends to watch a Ghibli movie for my birthday. The list goes on. I wanted to make the active choice to accept myself as an anime fan, to wear it as a badge of honor and not something I hid in shame. Even if no one understood or cared about anime, I needed to embrace it for myself. I needed to be true to myself, really. And as the years went on and I gained more and more Uniqlo anime shirts, I started to venture out into figures, and now my desk is scattered with various anime figures. And seeing a series like My Dress-Up Darling exist and have characters like Himeno and Akira exist make me feel so proud of them and myself for not being bound by how others saw me, and working to surround myself with people who enjoy the same things as me. I've already made a whole video about how much I love Himeno for My Dress-Up Darling, but I think Akira's backstory is one that really hits home for so many anime fans as well. Whether it be as explicit as "you are too old for anime and manga, get over it," or the more subtle aversion that I face, so many people have experienced what she felt. This burden of shame at just liking a piece of art. She doesn't want to be caught engaging with something her parents forced down upon her as something she could not and should not engage with, or something that would make her fit in less. The interaction she has with her classmates is one that I have had several times in high school, where it's this like feigned ignorance of something that we know much more about than we're letting on, but we want to fit in so we don't quite share that. But to see Akira's story continue and to find people like Miyako and Suzuka who are so open and expressive about their love for anime and manga is so wonderful to see for Akira. And in a strange way, I've become this like amalgamation of the three of them. I've tucked away in my mental archives basically every anime I know of that one of my friends has seen who is less into anime than me. Sometimes I just shoot off a recommendation of something I think they'd like because I know they've seen something and I go, "That's kind of similar, I can send that to them." And sometimes I just shoot off a recommendation because I think they'd like a series even if they've shown no interest at all. Will they actually watch it? Probably not, but at the very least it shows if I'm thinking about them in my daily life. I think that means something. And sometimes when I'm really bored at work, I think about making personalized recommendations for them, but we haven't gotten quite that far yet. Even in more tangentially related ways, I'm still trying to embrace the hardcore anime fan in me. And it's not like this is exclusive to just anime. My Pokemon plush count has skyrocketed in the past few years and just got even bigger because they released a Mega Ampharos plush and I love him to death. But in the same way, this took time because I experienced infinitely more of the Pokemon is for kids, you shouldn't be playing it mindset in school than with anime. I was getting that stuff in like elementary school. I've been playing Pokemon and I've been loving it my whole life, and I'm really grateful for my family for all leveling it, especially my parents for consistently getting me all the games, because otherwise I would not have been into it as much as I am now. I think so much of life is this balancing act of internal and external acceptance of things you love, even if they aren't something like sports, albeit sports have similar things because I am hopelessly ignorant about fantasy football, but I know the people in my life enjoyed it and I try to at least let them rant about how their guy is really doing really badly. Either way, I think true acceptance has to start internally. I had to allow myself to be a hardcore anime fan and really embrace that mindset. I went at my own pace until I became a guy who was a VTuber keychain in his work uniform. But I think community really helps bolster that love, feeding off their infectious energy that helps foster a deeper love for a series. It also just makes acceptance easier once we have exposure to others who like similar things, to know I'm not alone in my love of anime and that's okay. To give an anecdote, like everyone else who's into anime, I went to see Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and it feels like it gives me the most exposure to what being a modern day anime fan is like. This thing has become pretty mainstream. I'm seeing guys I never thought would watch anime at all, rocking the Demon Slayer tattoos or wearing their Mitsuri shirts. And I get such profound joy from seeing all these people, but there's also this lingering melancholy that part of me wishes I had this kind of atmosphere around me growing up, and maybe it would have been so much different if I was baptized into anime fandom with so many people. But I'm glad anime is becoming something that's more mainstream. I hope that it can be the end of what I had to go through growing up. Hope that future generations can proudly wear their Ghetto X Gojo shirts and yap about their favorite doomed yaoi couple. But this is where a series like My Dress Up Darling comes into play and can be so impactful, with its gracious acceptance and celebration of just loving anime and manga. It makes me think to myself that I want to love my favorite series like Marin Kitagawa does. I want to be a beacon of love for anime like so many people. And I can thank My Dress Up Darling for reminding me of my past and allowing me to reflect, while also giving me what is the easiest example of acceptance out there. Many of us have grown up like Akira, but we can live like Marin Kitagawa, Miyako, or Suzuka. We can be consumed by our love for our favorite series, and even if we're failures of it all, at least I'm out here celebrating the birthdays of fictional characters with whimsy and joy in my heart. And to My Dress Up Darling's credit, it has made me appreciate cosplay so much more, and now I'm like, man, what if I cosplayed Ure from Tokyo Ghoul Re? And Miyako's emphasis on just cosplaying the characters you love and making it work even if you aren't quite a perfect fit for them physically or whatever was so like radiantly warming, because ultimately, as the series makes abundantly clear, cosplay is an act of love for the character. Even if you don't think you can quite fit the physique, there's always the magic of editing and shot composition. It may not be easy to embody your favorite characters, but where there's a will, there's a way. It just may not be easy to fully embrace loving anime, but with time, acceptance can come, and eventually you too will have a room full of figures of all your favorite guys and gals. Now, to end this video, here's a fun little tour of all my figures and stuff, just to expose myself and go, look, here's all the things I own. You too can own what a normal person probably considers too many Pokemon plushies, but I don't.